Good time of day, guys! My name is Godzi, and welcome back to another episode of Higurashi When They Cry console arcs. Last episode, we continued Yoigoshi as we made our way to the ritual storehouse. Arakawa learned who the green-haired woman was, even though we already knew from the tip with her and Otobe and, the episode prior, but she's Mion, except she's not because Mion is dead, so she's Shion, unless there's some weird supernatural shit going on, which I kind of doubt. There's not really any established reason for that to be the case. It's just gonna be Shion. But, yeah, and this is also apparently a fragment similar to Sumi Horoboshi, in which Rena actually blew up the school. Cool! Anyways, let's continue. Also, real quick, I finally replaced my left monitor. Yay! What a nice birthday gift from my mother. Very nice. It's a basic TV, but it works, so woohoo! Anyways, oh, okay. Ah! A piercing scream. It's too early for me to do a fucking scream, okay? Not in the whatever. A piercing scream tore through the dark night and brought me back to my senses. That voice? Towada-san! We all left the ritual storehouse together and ran toward that voice. Let me guess, the person who was totally alive is gonna be missing, right? The voice didn't sound like it was coming from the assembly hall. It was in the direction of the shrine gate. Okay. Splash, splash, splash. We ran through the rain-soaked shrine grounds. Otobe held his flashlight up and pointed it toward the old shrine gate. Towada-san was alone, sitting on the ground with her back against the pillar of the shrine gate. Towada-san? Oh, okay. Towada-san slowly turned toward us. Her eyes looked vacant, like her soul was sucked out of her. Are you alright? Miyuki-chan rushed over to Towada-san and gave her a quick look to assess the situation. I don't see any external wounds. Does it hurt anywhere? Towada-san, what happened? I bent down in front of Towada-san and tried to ask her about the situation. However, Towada-san just continued trembling vigorously. Towada-san? How many times can we say her name? I had no idea what she was saying. I turned to Miyuki-chan seeking help, but she simply shook her head with a solemn look on her face. Massive tears were overflowing out of Towada-san's eyes. Car is... A car? Towada-san, get a hold of yourself! It's all right now. Maybe I was wrong. I was... Towada-san desperately tried to communicate something to all of us, but she couldn't get the words out. Miyuki-chan put her hands on Towada-san's shoulders, but she continued trembling. Her delicate body looked like it was at the breaking point. What happened? Car. What's this about a car? Oh, right. Where's that other guy? Kurosawa? Or whatever you called him? No. Towada-san couldn't bring herself to say it. She covered her mouth with both her hands. Towada-san? What happened to Kurosawa? Towada-san? No need to rush. Before I realized it, Sonozaki-san came over and knelt down beside Towada-san. She spoke to Towada-san. They've said it so many times I'm already fucking it up. In a more tender voice than I'd ever heard out of her. Relax. Now slowly take a deep breath. Sonozaki-san. It's okay. You're alright now. There's no need to panic. Towada-san continued sobbing, while Sonozaki-san gently patted her on the back. I mean, if she did actually kill the guy and, like, stage a disappearance, then she's really good at acting, that's for sure. Eventually, Towada-san managed to get her breathing under control, and then she squeezed out a few words. Okay, yep, I'm right. Demon... away. Huh? Demoned away. Are you saying Kurosawa-san was demoned away? Towada-san deeply nodded in agreement. Then she tightened her lips and lowered her head, terrified of whatever event she had just experienced. So, what happened? Take your time and tell us. When was Kurosawa demoned away? In due time, Towada-san finally started to calm down. She took a couple deep breaths, then slowly began speaking in a fragile voice. Right after you left, Takumi-kun finally woke up. We decided it was time to go home. And then? Kurosawa got drunk and slept for a really long time, but the two of them originally planned this to be a one-day trip. Once Towada-san and Kurosawa left the assembly hall, they walked straight through the shrine grounds toward their car. I heard that you were all going to the ritual storehouse, so I thought it'd be appropriate to say farewell. But Takumi-kun looked upset somehow, so I didn't insist on it. I think he was probably just embarrassed about sweeping so long. Then Kurosawa took Towada-san by the hand, and the two of them walked right past the ritual storehouse. And then the two of us came through this gate and headed down the stone steps. However, after descending the steps for a while, they were shocked by what they found. The car that we drove here in had vanished. The car disappeared? Otobe gasped, then turned back toward us. Come on, that's just like what happened to Otobe. Demoned away? No way! Was it actually demoned away? We don't know that for sure yet. Maybe you were just mistaken about where you parked it. Mistaken? That's impossible. So, about this car. Miyuki-chan stepped in to ask about the shape and model of the car. Towada-san's description sounded like something we'd seen before. If that's the case, we've seen it. When we first got here, that car was parked at the bottom of the stone steps, right? Ryunosuke-san? Yeah, now that you mention it. There was a rental minivan parked at the base of the stone steps when we first arrived. I recalled the terror I felt when I first saw it, wondering if it was another suicide car. Come to think of it, Miyuki-chan did give it a thorough examination. Which means Towada-san's car must have still been there when she came back with the luggage. At least, that was assuming Miyuki-chan was telling the truth. So, that was your car, right? But when I looked a little earlier, it was gone. The car was gone, and I didn't understand why. I got scared, and then... Towada-san clung to her arms and trembled. And then, I heard footsteps coming from behind us. Footsteps? Thump. Just then, I felt like I could hear someone's footsteps coming from behind, so I quickly looked back. But there was nobody there, just the falling rain. Even though there shouldn't be anybody else here, I'm certain I heard those footsteps. Signs of other people! Thump. Footsteps came one after another, seeming to get closer to Towada-san. Hi, Hanyu. Yo! It's been a while since people have been here. That is not even her voice. I can't fucking ad-lib it today. And then, I saw someone standing behind Takumi-kun. I I got scared and ran away. I ran up the stone steps in a daze. Takumi-kun, run! In my daze, I kept on shouting that.
But Kurosawa didn't escape.
It's not that he didn't try to, but... Rather than reply, Towada-san meekly hung her head. She tried to say something with her head still down, but she struggled to find the words. Was she really at a loss for words? Or did she just not want to accept what Sonozaki-san said? It was hard to tell.
So, what happened to you after that?
I ran up the stone steps and waited here for Takumi-kun to arrive. I waited for a long time, but Takumi-kun never came.
There were probably circumstances that prevented him from coming to help you.
Like the fact that he's dead.
Could it be he was attacked by someone in the shadows?
Then Kurosawa-san is already... We still don't know that! Towada-san responded without a moment of hesitation. We still don't know. But you wouldn't want to believe that yourself, would you? That's right. That was all Otobe could say, while delicately stepping back. I can understand how he feels. However, even if I couldn't believe Kurosawa was attacked, even if I didn't want to believe it, it was the only explanation I could think of. Have you considered that Kurosawa-san might have run in the opposite direction? The opposite direction? Right. If Kurosawa-san saw you running up the steps, he might have chosen to run in the opposite direction to draw them away from you. So, isn't it possible that he ran toward the village?
That's not impossible. Perhaps I should go check it out?
After saying that, Sonozaki-san began descending the stone steps. But isn't it reckless to ignore the scary things that might be lurking down there?
Wait! What do you mean you're going to check it out? I'm going to see if Kurosawa is wandering around down there somewhere. Well, I guess I won't be needing this. Hold on to this for me.
Huh? Sonozaki-san removed the cloth from her scabbard and unsheathed the sword, then tossed the cloth and scabbard to Otobe. And then she quickly descended the stone steps with the unsheathed sword in hand. Please wait! It's dangerous to go alone! Ow!
Wait.
Huh?
2 is better than 1, 3 better than 2, and 4 better than 3.
Arakawa-san?
Wouldn't it be safer if we all searched together?
I did my best to disguise the pitiful trembling in my hands as I said that. I heard those unidentifiable footsteps, too. If I was the only one who heard it, I could say it was all in my head. But now, Towada-san has heard them, too. And her boyfriend may have been demoned away by the owner of those footsteps. Whether that's the truth or not, I can't say for certain.
Traveling with that many people will only cause trouble. I'll be fine, so there's no need to come with me. But don't worry.
Sonozaki-san flashed us a thin smile before finally disappearing down the stone steps. Ryunosuke-san, something's bugging me. When I reluctantly turned back to face everyone, Miyuki-chan was talking to me with an unconvinced expression. She's the only one who figured out the same thing I did, and she didn't even know initially that that Towada was left alone in the fucking assembly hall.
What's wrong?
When someone is demoned away, it's always one person dies and one disappears, right?
That's true, but why bring that up?
Because there still hasn't been a death, right? So maybe this hasn't been a case of demoning away after all? Well, I mean, we know okay. Even if we were to take everyone we've met as charitably as possible, there are 5 people alive, okay? 5 people. We've seen 3 bodies, assuming that those are not Otobe's friends. Friends implies a plural, and Kurosawa makes, at minimum, 3 people who disappeared. So if you were to be charitable, you already know 3 people died and 3 disappeared, at minimum. Okay? So... yeah! Also, cars don't disappear. You can't demon away a car. Miyuki-chan said that with a serious expression. In other words, it seemed like she wasn't attributing this to a curse or other supernatural phenomena. Although, it was hard to tell if she genuinely believed that, or if she was just saying that to comfort me. And to be honest, this girl was the most mysterious thing of all. She was far too knowledgeable about the history and geography of this village for someone who hastily prepared for this trip. Plus, when I stumbled upon her belongings in the car, they looked wholly unsuited for magazine coverage. And even though this was her first time meeting Sonozaki-san, they were both acting like they've known each other for a long time. And what's even more unnatural is that they seem to know each other, but refuse to speak a single word of it. What is going on here? Who the hell is she? Ryunosuke-san, are you alright? Your face is looking pale, you know? Arakawa-san? Even Otobe was staring anxiously at me.
No, I'm fine. I was just a little lost in thought.
Maybe it would be best to return to the assembly hall and take a short rest.
I said I'm fine! Besides, you have a phone! A phone!
Huh?
We should report the missing car to the police.
But my battery is...
Maybe there's still a little life left in it? Besides, Otobe, I noticed that your phone is the new M model that came out last spring.
Huh?
Otobe's shoulders suddenly started shaking. What's that got to do with anything? It's got like a reserve battery?
I had no idea why Otobe looked so upset, but he was probably just a little scared. Or maybe he's just the sort of person who's always nervous.
Am I wrong?
No, you're right, but even so...
Which means it's the same as Sonozaki-san's.
Huh? Really? I didn't notice that.
That's an experienced reporter's power of observation for you. So, Otobe, if you swap batteries with Sonozaki-san, you should be able to use your phone again, right?
Is that so?
Is that so? Hey, you!
You're right!
Otobe's face didn't brighten up at all as he said that. What on earth is going on? No, that's not all. Come to think of it, when we first discovered the corpses in the car, Miyuki-chan was hesitant to use her phone too. Miyuki-chan and Otobe, why are they both so opposed to using their phones?
Huh?
What's wrong?
This is bad.
Otobe turned to me with a sad look on his face after rifling through all of his pockets. Oh, he lost the phone.
Looks like I dropped my cell phone somewhere while we were running here.
Huh?
I'm sorry! I'll go search for it!
As soon as Otobe said that, he rushed back to the ritual storehouse. There was no time to stop him. Hey! Be careful, okay? And if you find your phone, call the police right away!
Got it!
With Otobe and Sonozaki-san gone, I was left alone with Miyuki-chan and Towada-san.
What's going to happen to the rest of us?
I don't know, but it's clear that something abnormal is going on here.
I can't believe this is actually happening.
Meanwhile, Miyuki-chan was standing underneath the shrine gate with her arms crossed. She bit her nails with an irritated look on her face, like she was thinking hard about something. Eventually, I heard the sound of footsteps on gravel and the rustling of clothing, indicating that Sonozaki-san had returned. You're stupid as fuck. You just put his body in the car and pushed it off the cliff, drove a cinder block on the gas pedal. It got all the way to Okinomiya, but sucks for you, I'm fast.
Damn it!
Oh, culprit caught. But seriously, how does the car disappear? She obviously just hid his body, but somehow also hid the car. Nothing. There's nobody there.
Nobody?
There was nobody else wandering around. And after a quick look, I didn't see any footprints or traces of blood either.
Wait, then wouldn't there be car treads? Hold on, there'd be tire treads, right? What the fuck?
Then Kurosawa-san really did disappear with the car? It's unfortunate, but that's looking to be the case. I looked around the surrounding area, but I didn't see any other cars either. And there were no signs of other people.
Not even one other car?
Right.
In response to Sonozaki-san's words, Miyuki-chan turned back toward me. Come to think of it, what about the car we drove here in? That is weird.
Sonozaki-san, what do you mean there aren't any other cars? How far did you look? All around this area? If you want a more specific answer, well, I don't know for certain.
You didn't see a huge four-wheel drive car? It shouldn't have been parked more than 500 meters from the base of the stone steps.
A bulky four-wheel drive car? If a car like that was out here, it really would have stood out.
Miyuki-chan immediately dashed down the stone steps. That was Miyuki-chan's car. If it's gone, we've lost our means to go home. Means to go home? Everyone around me looked terrified when they recognized the meaning of the words I muttered. Otobe's friends suddenly vanished along with their car. Towada-san's boyfriend Kurosawa vanished along with their car. When I put those facts together, I suddenly gasped. Otobe and Towada-san had already lost their means to go home. And the two of them each lost their companions in the process.
Miyuki-chan!
I rushed down the stone steps while shouting her name. If things play out according to the rules we've observed thus far, my companion Miyuki-chan and the vehicle I came to the village in will both disappear together.
Miyuki-chan!
Miyuki-chan, please be safe. I struggled to step forward through the muddy ground. I ran so hard I nearly tripped over my feet. After pressing on for a while, I can make out Miyuki-chan's figure. Ryunosuke-san!
Miyuki-chan.
Felt so relieved I almost ran up and hugged Miyuki-chan. Hold it. Control yourself. But contrary to the swelling relief in my heart, Miyuki-chan had a troubled light in her eyes.
What's the matter?
It's not here after all.
Not here?
I mean, our car. Maybe it really was demon away. How the fuck do you demon away a car? Without our car, we're trapped at this shrine. There really might be a demon out there murdering us one at a time.
Miyuki-chan! Don't say strange things like that!
But even though we're alone in this village, the car still disappeared. No matter how you think about that, isn't that strange?
Well,
I swallowed my spit in one big gulp. Oh, there's my other slipper. I was like, why can't I find my other slipper? I'm just trying to find it with my foot, but it's nowhere. After confirming my reaction, Miyuki-chan continued. Maybe this demon might be one of us.
Among us! Among us! Oh my god, among us!
The demon might be one of us? She was suggesting that one of us might actually be responsible for these extraordinary circumstances? It did seem plausible. Are you... I mean, obviously, yeah, we know the rules of Higurashi. There's not actual demons lurking around being like, ooh, a car! Like they're playing fucking Donut County and launching them into the fucking depths of the swamp. It's people. But, you know, mystery rules. It's like, the only other people we've come across are the 3 dead people who we've confirmed are dead. So the only other solution is if Kurosawa actually was alive, ran in this direction, and stole their car. But the person who was MIA for the most time, who could have stolen Towada and Kurosawa's car, is Miyuki. So... interesting. But if that's the case, who on earth could it be? Oh, great. I mean, the only thing we know is that there's a 0% chance that it's Arakawa, Otobe, or Mion who's going around stealing cars. So, yeah. As I considered that, a chill ran down my spine the moment I looked Miyuki-chan in the eyes. The emotion I perceived right there was suspicion and vigilance. You gotta be kidding me. Are you even doubting me, Miyuki-chan? At the same time, I studied the cold look in Miyuki-chan's eyes. Well, yeah, to be fair, if she is an undercover cop, that doesn't necessarily mean she's a good guy. Like, Akasaka's daughter or not, you know? Plus, I mean, what do you need to start a car? A key! So, like, the only other way you can move a car is if you just pick it up, or again, Donut County it, but seriously. At the same time, I studied the cold look in Miyuki-chan's eyes. What did Miyuki-chan mean when she said that? What should I do? What? Miyu... It's about time to head back. Huh? Right. Despite the anxiety and hesitation in my voice, Miyuki-chan started heading back in the direction of the shrine. We remained silent the entire time, climbing the lengthy staircase. So, you didn't find the car? Miyuki-chan nodded in response to Sonozaki-san. That's a shame. So many friends being demoned away. Sonozaki-san had an oversized, warped grin on her face. Then she turned around and started walking toward the assembly hall. Hey, wait! By the way, do you know what happened to Otobe? Are you kidding me? The moment she pointed that out, I said, ah, to myself. Otobe? Come to think of it, he went off searching for his cell phone and still hasn't returned. Is someone up to something? What is going on here? I still haven't fully grasped the situation yet, but it was clearly dangerous for one person to be moving about on their own. Otobe! Otobe! I couldn't picture Otobe as a man-eating demon on the hunt for humans. So, if Otobe disappears too, then it would mean he was the next victim of being demoned away. Otobe-kun! Huh? I'm here! Okay, so he is still around. Then, once Otobe noticed us calling out to him, he came running with thunderous footsteps from somewhere not too far away. What's wrong? Otobe-kun! Oh, thank goodness. Seriously? I thought you might have gotten demoned away too. Really? Sorry for making you worry. So, did you find your phone? Yeah. What's the matter? I found my phone, but it was weird. What was weird? Otobe's pupils shook back and forth. Come on, what is it this time? Arakawa-san, please, take a look at this. I only dropped it. So why did it end up like this? Ugh. Otobe held out his cell phone as he said that. It was a flip phone, but the hinge was torn apart, and the LCD screen was smashed beyond repair. He did that. Otobe did that, because he doesn't want to contact people, because he's involved with the suicide car. And 3 of the buttons were completely covered in mud. In other words, the phone was simply no longer usable. What is this? Naturally, I couldn't help but tremble. What does this mean? How did it end up like this? The only thing I can think of is that someone broke it on purpose. But why? Someone did this on purpose? It would have to be someone who knew it was Otobe-kun's phone.
Everyone remained silent. Without a proper understanding of the circumstances, we couldn't say anything. What are you all so scared about? You can always just buy another phone or two, right? That's not the issue here. Shouldn't you know that better than anyone? Me? In this village, all communication with the outside world has been cut off. And those who try to make contact with the outside are killed in a miserable way. Haven't you heard that before? I held the broken pieces of Otobe's phone out for Sonozaki-san to see. What? Are you saying I did this? That's not what I'm saying. But you must have realized this phone was broken to keep us from contacting the outside. This phone was a metaphor for us, and this was done to make an example. In that case, is this the curse of the village? After Otobe said that, we all fell silent. The next moment, Sonozaki-san burst into laughter. Don't be ridiculous. Sorry, but I'm going to get some rest in the assembly hall. Sonozaki-san grabbed the phone I was holding out, then walked past us and headed toward the assembly hall. Miyuki-chan gave me an anxious look.
Ryunosuke-san, what should we do?
What should we do?
Should we head back to the assembly hall too?
Yeah, but...
After everything that's happened, should we head back to where Sonozaki-san was headed? As I pondered that, I felt somewhat lost. And the next moment... Sorry, everyone. This is selfish of me to ask, but would you mind searching for Takumi-kun a little longer?
Towada-san said that in an assertive tone, then promptly lowered her head.
I'll search too. If we search this village all night long, I'm sure we'll find Takumi-kun. I'm sure of it.
She sternly pleaded with us, betting on the possibility that he was still alive out there. No, she doesn't want us to go to the assembly hall. I understand how much pain she must be in. But can I really believe in that possibility?
Please, Arakawa-san. Please search for Takumi-kun with me.
Towada-san looked up at me and looked directly into my eyes. A powerful gaze emanated from her huge cat-like eyes, and I couldn't look away. In the end, I decided to... Oh, cool! Finally, a choice! I forgot the game said that we were going to get those. Okay, I wonder what happens if I return to the assembly hall. Do I get stabbed? I think we should return to the assembly hall.
Huh? You're not going to search for Kurosawa-san?
Miyuki-chan furrowed her eyebrows and stared at me as soon as she heard my answer. Somehow, it felt like the tone of her voice was criticizing me. Well, I do want to search for him, but it's already pitch black outside. If we go out searching right now, there's a risk even more danger will befall us. Plus, it's still raining. Wouldn't it be easier to look for him after the sun comes up? The look on Miyuki-chan's face indicated she still wasn't fully satisfied, but eventually she relented and nodded to me.
It's unfortunate, but it's just as Ryunosuke-san says. It can't be helped. I'm sorry.
Towada-san walked up next to me and lightly bowed her head to Miyuki-chan.
Why are you apologizing, Towada-san? Takumi-kun caused trouble for you. That's all.
That's just the situation we're in. It can't be helped. Don't worry about it.
Okay.
When I saw Towada-san's shoulders droop, the guilt started to eat at me. Even though I did believe it couldn't be helped, I still couldn't bring myself to look her eye to eye. The rain began coming down even harder. We hastened our pace to nearly a run, and eventually arrived at the assembly hall. So how does this end poorly? We stepped inside the vacant assembly hall and stopped near the entrance of the large tatami-lined room.
Huh?
That's weird. The light was still on inside the assembly hall, but there was nobody inside.
Where did Sonozaki-san go? She definitely told us that she was heading back earlier. So, why isn't Sonozaki-san here? I took a look around, but I didn't see any signs of human presence. I'll take a quick look around. Otobe frantically looked around outside the doorway, but in this heavy rain and the dark night, it was impossible to see anyone. That's alright, Otobe. For now, let's head inside and wait. But, no way. Was she also teamed away? That's impossible. After all, this is Sonozaki-san. I became startled as soon as I said that. Somewhere deep in my heart, I was starting to suspect that Sonozaki-san was involved in these people being demoned away. They always blame Mion, guys. And she never does a fucking thing, even though this isn't Mion, but I digress. She's a resident of this village and a member of the 3 families that rule the area. Ultimately, she's a member of the Sonozaki family. A woman wandering around an uninhabited village with a sword in the middle of the night. Moreover, the name she gave us was Mion Sonozaki, who supposedly died over 20 years ago. There are people here who shouldn't be here, and people who should be here that have disappeared. Just about everything feels off. Anyway, let's dry our wet clothes. Towada-san quickly took off her cardigan and spread it along the tatami mat. You too, Ryunosuke-san. You'll catch a cold if you stay like that.
Yeah, you're right.
I followed Towada-san's lead and spread my wet coat along the floor. I don't think it'll dry off like that, but I can't keep wearing wet clothes forever. After that, I saw Miyuki-chan taking off her jacket. Oh my god. No, I'm not reading that. Yeah, we should... I'm glad I chose the wrong option, because I want this guy to get killed horribly. Something wrong?
No, nothing.
I tried to hide it by mindlessly rubbing the wrinkles out of my coat on the floor. Miyuki-chan had a dubious look on her face for a moment, but then she plopped down on the tatami mat. Once again, we all took our seats around the center of the assembly hall. But the main difference from last time was that Sonozaki-san and Kurosawa weren't here, and that both of our cars had disappeared. Otobe seemed to be uncomfortable as he gazed up at the ceiling. I too looked up at the ceiling, and then looked around the room. Huge spider webs were strewn across the ceiling and the wall. There were icicles of dust hanging from various places on the ceiling, and posters for the Onigafuchi Guardians plastered all over the walls. Shovels and helmets were sitting alongside the wall. This room really feels like it's from the Showa era. I casually muttered that, but nobody said anything in response. That reaction illustrated how emotionally drained we were all feeling. I imagined the villagers over 20 years ago putting on these helmets, picking up these shovels, sticking these posters to the walls, and standing together in their campaign against the dam project. Somehow, I felt out of place here. It was disquieting. This assembly hall probably hasn't been used in over 20 years. If the people who allegedly died 20 years ago, or rather, if the spirits of the demons came to this assembly hall, searching for food... Okay, I thought I fucked up my nail. I shuddered as the thought crossed my mind. Our cars were taken, and our only working phone was destroyed. So now we're stuck here with nothing we can do about it. And this was all the work of some enigmatic individual. Maybe we'll never be able to step foot outside of here. Should we just sit down and wait for death? Ryunosuke-san, have you caught a cold? Are you alright? Miyuki-chan put a hand on my knee, but I promptly brushed her hand aside. Ryunosuke-san? Miyuki-chan just stared at me, looking bewildered. Suddenly, I realized what I had done.
Sorry. I didn't mean it like that.
No, it's okay. Miyuki-chan gave me a faint, half-hearted smile and lowered her head, like she was trying to escape from my gaze.
Sorry. I was just lost in thought.
I turned my gaze downward to avoid making eye contact with her. Miyuki-chan is hiding something, there's no doubt about it. But what could it be? Though I was clearly enamored with Miyuki-chan, I simply couldn't bring myself to trust her. But even so, I'd like to believe her. I'd love to believe that Miyuki-chan is a normal freelance writer. But the basis for that was far too flimsy. So again, why the fuck did Towada not want us to go over here? There's gotta be something. Why are Miyuki-chan's bags filled with blank pages disguised as investigative material? Why is Miyuki-chan so averse to talking about herself? And why is she so knowledgeable on the subject of Hinamizawa that she can even surprise an occult writer like myself? That's not all. How is she so knowledgeable about the geography and internal affairs of Hinamizawa? How can she know not just the existence of this assembly hall, but even its precise location? The way things are... Just then, the silence was broken by Otobei's voice. The way things are now, do you think we'll be stuck here until morning? That seems to be the case. What about it? What is it? If you've got something to say it. No. Then Otobei lowered his head between his knees, with a glum look on his face. What a pain. If you have something to say, you have to speak up. Just as I was about to say that, I suddenly started to feel like something was wrong. Until morning? Isn't it odd for Otobei to say that in the first place? Otobei called the police a little while ago. If that's the case, he should be the person who has the least reason to think we'll be stuck waiting here until morning, right? But even so, why does his face look so uneasy? Hey, Otobei-kun. Yes? When you called the police earlier, you managed to get through, right? How much were you able to tell them? How much? Well, Otobei stammered and turned away from Miyuki-chan. Apparently, she was thinking the same thing. That's right. If the police come here, we'll be able to hitch a ride home with them. So by tomorrow, we'll be able to get out of here, right? Right. It would be nice if the police got here soon. Miyuki-chan sounded non-committal. In fact, she sounded rather cynical. Looking over at Towada-san, she was sitting with her arms around her knees and seemed on the verge of falling asleep. Her hair was draped over her face, so I couldn't discern her expression. Towada-san, are you feeling alright? Towada-san raised her head. Her eyes were open wide, her face was starting to turn blue, and her lips were looking pale, and her body was lightly trembling. Towada-san? I'm fine. Towada-san, are you really alright? Miyuki-chan put a hand on Towada-san's shoulder, and then she held her hand to Towada-san's cheek and forehead. You're freezing! Is it from the rain earlier? No. This is no big deal. Towada-san gently pulled Miyuki-chan's hand away from her cheek. Please, don't worry about it. Really, I'm fine, so... Achoo! Towada-san shuddered after a light sneeze. It's the first sign of catching a cold. If left untreated, it'll only get worse. You don't look well at all. Could be a cold. We have to do something about it. As Towada-san brushed my hand aside, I took a look around the assembly hall. There may be futons and other things inside the closet. Why wouldn't she just get those out beforehand? And there's a small kitchen in the back. As long as there's a pot or a kettle, I should be able to do some basic cooking here. After thinking it over, I called out to Towada-san. Oh, lovely. Another choice, and both kill me. Whee! Alright, page 2, save, bam. Alright. Shall I get you a blanket? Shall I get you a blanket? It's fine. I can get my own blanket, so you don't... As I stood up and began walking toward the closet, Towada-san called out for me to stop, then rose to her feet and rushed over. But thanks to all the fatigue she'd endured, her legs gave out beneath her. She quickly grabbed the back of my shirt and somehow managed to regain her footing. Are you alright? Oh, I can do that myself. You don't look alright at all. Please, have a seat. I'll grab a blanket and come back right away. No, I'm fine! I think I know where Kurosawa is. Towada-san spoke up in an unexpectedly forceful tone, then set her hand down on top of my hand on the closet door. She squeezed it tight, telling me to stop. Okay, so she didn't have a cold. She's just fucking blatantly nervous because Kurosawa's right in that closet there. Towada-san? I can do it by myself. It's alright. After being told that so directly, I had no choice but to back off. But even so, why was she getting so upset about a mere blanket? Towada-san's face looked pale as she lightly bowed to me, then slowly opened the closet door. There was a bed cover of some sort on the top shelf of the closet, and several mats and futons neatly arranged on the lower shelf. I immediately grimaced as the stench of mildew mixed with sweaty body odor drifted toward me. A closet shouldn't smell that bad, even in a single-person apartment like my own. Why does your closet stink, buddy? Where are the blankets? I knelt down on the floor and looked up at the closet. Towada-san simply stared into the closet, not touching anything inside. Maybe the blankets are on the other side? Ah, right. Towada-san closed one closet door, then opened the other. There were floor cushions and chairs inside, along with sheets, pillowcases, and blankets. Just as I thought. There were blankets here after all. Right. Oh, thank goodness. Towada-san lightly smiled as she tugged on a blanket. Rustle. Just then, a cockroach fell out of the blanket. Whoa! I immediately leapt back an entire meter. Nice. However, Towada-san stared at the cockroach with a cold look in her eyes, then knelt down in front of the closet and tossed a blanket over her shoulder. Seeing that gesture, I jumped even further back. Are you feeling alright? What is it? There was a cockroach in that blanket. Is it really okay to just wrap it around yourself without checking it out first? You're overreacting. It's not like she'll get sick and die from it or anything. Miyuki-chan giggled to herself, then wrapped the carcass in a tissue and tossed it in a nearby trash can. You really hate bugs, don't you, Ryunosuke-san? What'd you expect? Exactly how many people out there actually love cockroaches? Not many. Probably not a lot, but this one was already dead, you know? That doesn't matter! Cockroaches are cockroaches! Whenever you see one cockroach, there are another 100 of them in hiding. Which means that blanket could be covered in cockroaches, right? Couldn't be that bad. You're exaggerating, Ryunosuke-san. Miyuki-chan glanced over at Towada-san as she said that. Towada-san was wrapped in the blanket, not moving a muscle. I couldn't imagine wrapping a blanket from such a smelly closet around myself. I wouldn't want it anywhere near my mouth. I guess she's cold enough to look past that sort of thing. Towada-san, are you alright? Wouldn't it be warmer to lay on a futon? Should I pull one out for you? Miyuki-chan held her hand out toward the door on the opposite side. However, Towada-san moved her body between her and the closet to cut her off. I'm fine with just this. Towada-san, this is enough for me. So don't touch the closet door anymore. It felt like Towada-san was trying to convey that message through that gesture. Why the fuck would she hide him there? Of all places, a closet in an assembly hall that you guys have been hanging out in? You went outside. Where's the car? Where'd you put the car? There's gotta be better places to hide a body than a futon closet. A place you guys would probably go because, oh, well, we can't get home, so let's just sleep here. You know, with the futons in the closet. Like, Jesus Christ, he's better hidden in the fucking brush. In the end, Miyuki-chan let out a sigh and sat down next to me. Alright, so when does bad shit happen? The rain was still coming down outside the window. The assembly hall fell silent. The only sounds I heard came from the falling rain striking the trees and the muddy ground. I took a glance at my watch. It was already around 1 a.m. Otobe was sitting on the floor with his arms around his knees, then suddenly raised his head.
What's the matter?
I heard a sound. I listened outside the window, but all I heard was the sound of falling rain.
I don't hear anything?
Maybe it was just my imagination? No. But Miyuki-chan, who was listening outside the window just like me, responded in a low, sharp voice. I'm certain he heard something. And it was more than one sound.
What did you hear?
Footsteps.
Footsteps? Whose?
Miyuki-chan didn't respond and instead continued focusing her senses. If someone is out there, maybe it's just Sonozaki-san returning here. But Miyuki-chan did say more than one just now. But if that's the case, what then?
I'll open the window.
Wait, Ryunosuke-san! I stood up and vigorously opened the window before Miyuki-chan's cries to stop could reach my ears. The sound of the falling rain grew even louder. Splash, splash, splash. Indeed, I could hear the sound of footsteps mixed together with the splashing rain. But the footsteps sounded rough. Sonozaki-san was wearing sandals, so these couldn't possibly be hers.
Who is it?
I leaned out the window and surveyed the surrounding area. However, nobody was there. Otobe anxiously looked up at me. Arakawa-san!
They disappeared.
Disappeared?
Can't see anyone. Even though I'm certain I heard those footsteps.
Who did those footsteps belong to? Was it the work of demons who set their sights on us? Ryunosuke-san, please close the window.
Right.
Though I was confused by Miyuki-chan's calm demeanor, I closed the window as directed. We should lock it just in case.
Got it. Oh, should we lock the front door too?
Yes, please do. I quickly walked toward the entrance. Come to think of it, I probably shouldn't be running. But I was thoroughly spooked by those footsteps. Who on earth would come here? Who did those footsteps belong to? I ran down the hallway, but as soon as I tried to lock the front door, the door opened. Oh, hi.
Ah! Oh, Arakawa.
The person standing before me was none other than Sonozaki-san, looking thoroughly soaked.
I'm back. Welcome back.
I responded instinctively, then stepped out of her way. Sonozaki-san took off her muddy sandals, then started walking toward the assembly hall. I rushed to lock the door and chase after Sonozaki-san. Or at least I intended to. But unfortunately, the lock on the door was broken and wouldn't close.
Damn it. Of all the times for the lock to not work.
I took out my anger on the door, then hurried back to the tatami-lined room.
Ah, that was a lot of work.
Sonozaki-san wiped her wet clothes with a towel while closing her sword bag, then plopped down on the floor and spread out a scroll she pulled out of her pocket.
What's that? It's a scroll, obviously. I mean, I can tell that much. I went to the ritual storehouse for this, but I came back early when I heard someone scream.
Apparently this scroll is what Sonozaki-san was searching the ritual storehouse for. So, she wasn't demoned away? I felt relieved, but also disappointed. It was a conflicting feeling. Sonozaki-san wasn't necessarily behind the demoning aways. However, she did seem the most likely candidate for the culprit.
What's wrong, Arakawa? You're staring at me. No, it's nothing.
I was too frightened for her to say anything. Still, I could see the amazing force behind Sonozaki-san's eyes.
What is it? You're acting awfully timid. Should I start calling you Otobe too from now on? Why are you comparing me to Otobe?
Sorry. For some reason, Otobe apologized and hung his head. Sonozaki-san smiled wryly toward Otobe, then quickly made eye contact with Miyuki-chan before looking at Towada-san with a frown on her face.
Hey, you.
Yes?
I'm shocked that you can wear such an awfully smelly blanket.
Towada-san's complexion looks significantly better than earlier, and it seems like she stopped shivering. Towada-san was feeling rather sick earlier. She was trembling. Sonozaki-san carefully looked over Towada-san's entire body after listening to Miyuki-chan's explanation. Then she beckoned her to move away from the closet and closer to us.
You shouldn't be over there by yourself. Come over here. Isn't it drafty and cold over there?
No, I'm fine staying right here. Right here.
I don't care about your smelly blanket. Come over here.
It's alright. I'd rather stay right here. Towada-san was huddled in front of the closet, 2 or 3 meters away from the circle the rest of us were sitting in. Towada-san was sitting with her arms around her knees. She squeezed the blanket on her chest and frowned at us.
Are you still feeling sick?
Sonozaki-san rolled up the scroll, put it away, then stood up. That moment, Towada-san suddenly looked like she was bracing herself. What on earth? What is this girl so worried about? And Sonozaki-san clearly didn't miss that change in her expression.
You. Just what are you hiding over there? Move aside for a moment, will you?
No. There's nothing special over here.
Then, get out of the way!
A look of panic flashed through Towada-san's eyes, and she clung to the blanket at her chest. And though Sonozaki-san was glaring at her, Towada-san held the blanket up to her face to avoid her gaze. After seeing that reaction, Sonozaki-san seemed to reach some understanding, and simply shrugged her shoulders.
I see. That's how it is then?
What do you mean, that's how it is? I was about to ask Sonozaki-san about it, but she quickly put her hand on the closet door and slid it open. Whoosh! The closet door came open, revealing a mountain of futons. Towada-san had her back resting against the door, so the force of the opening door knocked her down to the floor.
Come on, Sonozaki-san, what the hell?
Sonozaki-san stared at the neatly arranged pile of futons, cautiously studying them, much like I did earlier. Then she ran her hand under the bed cover and between the layers of futons.
Sonozaki-san? What are you doing? If my suspicions are correct, we should be able to find what Towada-san is hiding in here.
Her hand stopped moving between the futons. Maybe she found what she was searching for. And then, Sonozaki-san turned back to Towada-san with a huge grin on her face.
Sonozaki-san?
It's nothing. What's wrong?
Everyone, don't be too surprised.
Even if you tell us not to be surprised, we won't know until we see it.
Is it going to be a mountain of cockroaches this time?
Even I didn't think that was funny. It was hardly a joke. What on earth is hiding in there? Sonozaki-san grabbed the bed cover with both hands and pulled it vigorously. And what came from inside was a human hand. Oh, lovely. The hand of a young man. What is this? Towada-san trembled in shock with both hands held against her mouth, before finally saying that in a shaky voice. It was as if she recognized the owner of that hand. Seriously? Chapter split? Even with the fucking wrong choice, according to the game? Oh, you chose wrong, but hey, guess what? And we're gonna give you a tip, too. Watch this. What the fuck? Are they literally just minor changes or something? From what you choose? I just wanted to see what the bad end would be like, but it's still progressing as if it's normal or something. Strange. Alright, whatever. Sunset. Chiaki, okay, some rando. Oh? Machiko. What's wrong, Chiaki-san? Hey, Machi-chan, check it out. Doesn't it look like storms are coming? Maybe so. Chiaki-san was leaning practically sideways to peer out the window, so I looked up at the sky. And okay, so Chiaki's a girl. It's a unisex name, so I wasn't fucking sure. And she was right about that. The sky was looking a bit dark. Still, the sunset was able to paint a wide area in a bright vermilion hue. It was beautiful. Still don't know about this one, though. Hey, Akutagawa-san. Can I open the window for just a sec? Is this the guy from Bungo Stray Dogs? I've never heard that name outside of Bungo Stray Dogs. I know they're based on authors, so they're not, like, literally completely made up rare names, but still. Yeah, sure. I think that's what he sounded like. The driver, Akutagawa, undid the lock. Then I opened the backseat window. As soon as I did, I could hear the faintly echoing chorus of the Higurashi, and a cool breeze blew some fresh air into the car. Beautiful. I could never see anything like this back in the city where I lived. This was the great big sky in the truest sense. There were no annoying buildings to block the view, and the glow of the sunset was able to reach everything I could see. I'm assuming these are the suicide car victims, right? Hey, Chiaki-san, take a look over here. Isn't it a fantastic view? Yeah, it truly is. Chiaki-san smiled bitterly as she looked up at the sky from behind my back, and I could feel the loneliness in her voice as she said that. The Higurashi are singing, the birds are flying, and the trees are massive. I can hardly believe there's a ghost town out here. That felt like my brain wanted to ad-lib something else there, but I can't remember the entire line, so whatever. On days like these, you know. Oh. Ghost town. Hearing those words reminded me of what we came out here to do. That's right. Nobody lives out here anymore. I'm right. Hey, Otobe-kun. Do you know why nobody lives in this village anymore? Well, I don't know. I just know some magazine listed it as an occult spot. Otobe-kun was sitting in the front passenger seat, gazing at the outside scenery as he gave that half-hearted answer. Somehow he didn't seem all that interested in the place where we were headed. Seems like his thoughts were elsewhere. I'm guessing this Machiko person is also a girl. How about you, Chiaki-san? Same here. I don't know much. Just that there was some terrible accident a long time ago. Haha, I see. So you youngsters don't know about the great Hinamizawa disaster, do you? Akutagawa-san, do you know something? Yeah, it happened about 20 years ago. It caused a major uproar at the time. Uproar? I leaned forward and looked at the driver's seat. Akutagawa-san continued to focus on his driving, but nodded at me through the rear view mirror. Oh, wee-woo. Before the disaster, Hinamizawa was just a small Japanese village of no particular interest. But everything changed in June of 1983. What on earth happened? Toxic volcanic gas was released from a swamp in the middle of the night, killing the entire village while they slept. And in that single night, over 2,000 people had their lives taken from them. Anyone who saw the unthinkable, horrific state of that disaster with their own eyes must have been terrified of the destructive power of nature. Japan has always had a lot of volcanoes. Even though volcanic zones can have periods of inactivity, there's no guarantee how long it'll be until they release their fury. And geologically speaking, it's difficult to find a region that doesn't have any poison gases lurking underground. So it was natural for people to think it could happen in my town too. And as a result, cases of people suffering severe anxiety continued to pop up. But that wasn't the only cause for commotion. Relatives of people from Hinamizawa village believed that the gas disaster was caused by their local god, and they started a commotion about the curse of Oyashiro-sama. And then the people who were afraid of the curse started acting possessed, engaging in strange behavior, and involving surrounding people. In some cases, even carrying out bizarre murders. Those incidents only exacerbated the fear and anxiety that people were feeling at the time. The curse of Oyashiro-sama. Right. And the people responded to that with an overblown nationwide movement to disparage the people from that village. In reality, this social ostracization was based on mere rumors, but it largely cut those people off from future prospects. Even now, I've heard stories about people from that area struggling to find employment or marriage. That second one's the same for me where I am, but other people don't seem to have that problem. Meh. Fuck this town. It's like a witch hunt. Exactly. And Hinamizawa is at the heart of the entire uproar. That's why it became a literal ghost town. The village was erased from Japanese history. The bliss I was feeling until a moment ago was cast aside, and so I closed the window. Something about the air started to feel wrong, and I suddenly began feeling nauseous. Even afterwards, there were still random isolated bursts of gas. It took over 20 years before the blockade on the area was lifted. I think at this point, it's finally gone. It seems unreal. The beautiful village was completely smothered by toxic gas, and it happened recently too. I can hardly believe it. I remembered something when you called it a ghost town. Just then, Otobe spoke up while playing with his cell phone in the passenger seat. This village. Apparently ghosts appear here. The villagers were killed in the middle of the night in the blink of an eye, so they're spirits. I see. Indeed, if they died so quickly that they didn't even know what was going on, their spirits might appear without ever knowing that they died. But that's alright. No matter what form they take, it's better than never seeing them again. A village of the dead, huh? I wonder if only the spirits of the villagers who died here can come out. Can they not come here if they died somewhere else? Machi-chan? Enough of that. Either way, I'll meet them soon enough. I'm sure I'll see everyone soon. Ah, okay. So... So it was a group suicide, and Otobe abandoned it. Like, it was supposed to be all four of them, but Otobe decided, no, actually, I'll live, and ran off. I see. And he doesn't want to tell anybody, because I guess they wanted to all disappear? I don't know. Anyways, this one, whatever it's called. Around 4 p.m. on the 24th, 911 operators received a message stating several gunshots were heard in the university hospital parking lot, and a woman had collapsed. How the fuck is this related? Emergency responders transported the victim to another nearby hospital, but she was already comatose and in critical condition. It was later discovered that the woman visiting the hospital was Akane Sonozaki. Oh, okay. The acting head of a regional mob organization known as the Sonozaki Group. The Metropolitan Police Department is investigating the incident as an attempted murder. The Tokyo Metropolitan Government is also investigating its relationship to a series of conflicts over the Sonozaki Group's succession, following the death of the group's leader last year. According to their investigation, the acting Sonozaki head was shot from behind at close range, and the bullet went through her left breast. Several shell casings were found at the crime scene, so the Metropolitan Police believe the assailants were armed with automatic handguns. After the shooting, a man around 30 years of age was seen fleeing the scene in a white car. The man was dressed in a black suit and hat, with his face obscured by sunglasses. Odd. When Metropolitan Police searched for the fleeing vehicle, they found a car matching the witness's description in a convenience store parking lot approximately 1 kilometer north of the crime scene. Police believe the man escaped from there after switching to another car. Okay. So some dude shot and killed Akane. That's just supposed to be the explanation for where she is? Why not? Alright, I would venture to guess that we are basically almost done with this chapter. Oh, 5B1? Jeez. I don't know then. I don't know. There might be a lot more to read. I'm just gonna venture to guess we have at least an hour left. So I'm gonna end this episode here. I'm glad I didn't end up doing what I did with Tsukiyo Toshi. That's for sure. Alright, that's gonna be it for this episode, guys. If you liked it, then be sure to press the like button. And if you didn't like it, then fuck you too. Remember to subscribe, follow me on Twitter, and hit that notification bell to stay up to date on all my videos and stuff. And as always, my name is Godzi, and I will see you all next time. Goodbye! Yeah.